What is up, guys? Pete DiCarlo here, and today we're going to be talking about RKT Stock. So this is a company that I really love fundamentally. I've talked about them plenty of times on this channel. I've talked about how I think that they are a huge disruptor company, and that's the type of companies that I like to invest in, that I like to, really put a lot of my effort into when I'm trying to find a deal, and RKT is one of them. But today I want to go over why the company is up 50%, if I would be selling, if I'd be buying, if I'd be holding, and really kind of overall, what do I think about RKT at these prices? Because what's happening right here is not necessarily because they had such amazing earnings. The earnings were pretty freaking good, but it's not like this is happening because the earnings were so amazing and now we're happening for another reason. It's basically another short squeeze. But I want to talk about in this video why that's happening and what I would be doing. So before we get started, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel if you want to be a part of my private academy, get access to all my trades live as soon as I take them. I was calling RKT out literally 3 weeks ago. I had students buying this heavy at $20 just a couple weeks ago. So if you want to get access to that, you get access to all my trades. You get to live stream with me every single morning for the first hour of market open. You get to get access to 60 hours of courses and lectures and our private Discord. I'll put the link down below. You can use the code Academy90 to start for $10 your first month. So let's take a look at RKT, and let's just take a look at the overall support and resistance and how the stock has performed within the last year. Then we'll kind of talk about the move and where do I see it going. So you can see overall, like, RKT has not been a public company for a very long time. We had very strong supports around that $20 range, between $19, $20. And you pretty consistently could have, got some decent trades buying at 19 and selling at 22. We squeezed and bounced between these prices for close to about a year before finally on this most recent earnings taking a massive move to the upside. Now, they did smash their earnings. Their earnings were really good in my opinion from a fundamental investing standpoint. They took a massive push up, almost 27% within a couple days, which is great. And I thought that a breakout would occur, maybe a push up to 26, push up to 27. We had a huge move, but I was not expecting this big of a move on RKT. We actually broke up over all-time highs of $34, and now I want to get into why that is happening. Now, for any of you guys who don't understand what a short squeeze is, or in this case, really what has been happening with companies like AMC, companies like BlackBerry, Naked, all these different companies, they've been essentially squeezing and killing shorts. When a stock has a ton of short interest, which means the stock is shorted by hedge funds or just people in general, it will affect the price of the stock to the downside. Now, a lot of people don't understand the difference between shorting and getting puts. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm shorting the stock or I'm going short, and they grab puts. It's completely different. When you're actually shorting a company, you are borrowing shares against the company. So it's actually possible with companies like GameStop, with companies like AMC, that there are more short positions than there are even shares because you can borrow against it. Now, in the case of RKT, almost 50% of all of its shares, I think potentially even more, were shorted. 40% of all of its shares were shorted. And what happens is at some point, those people have to cover their shorts. Well, the only way to cover your short is to buy shares back in the company, which therefore is going to push the price of the stock up even more. And so quickly, we're going to take a look at this article from CNBC. So you guys can see here, shares of RKT companies, jumped today more than 50% as a large short target of hedge funds. So RKT shares rallied today as much as 70%. We actually hit highs of $42 in a surprising move with no apparent news. The online mortgage provider currently has large short bets placed against it by hedge funds and appears to have garnered some bullish interest from day traders on Reddit's infamous Wall Street bets. So you guys have probably seen Wall Street bets everywhere. What they're trying to do, recently is find companies that have huge short interest, which means hedge funds are shorting it. And what they do is buy it up. It gets targeted to be bought up. The stock pumps. Shorts have to cover their position, which means shorts have to start buying the shares, and the stock rips. So Nearly 40% of its available shares are sold short, and it is near the top of the list of the US companies in terms of size of short bets by hedge funds, according to FactSet. This makes it a classic target by the meme-obsessed investors who have been storming together this year into shares and call options of heavily shorted companies in order to squeeze out short sellers. It's unclear of the size of the retail interest in Rocket stock at this time. Tuesday's jump put Rocket on track for the best day ever since its IPO in August of 2020, and the stock was last trading up 51%, briefly to volatility. A number of popular posts on Wall Street Bet's chat room featured Rocket on Tuesday. One says, "I like Rocket, 1.7 million all in, let's go YOLO." I love the way they talk about Wall Street Bets, and quickly drew more than 1,700 comments. The jump in Rocket Company shares Tuesday did not catch trader John Najarian by surprise. John Najarian, the panelist on NBC on the halftime report, said it's known for spotting unusual activity in the options market. So John Najarian, Pete and John Najarian, I don't know if you guys know them. They were both football players, but I think they run the halftime report and the unusual options activity section, which all it is just scanning for things like we do with Black Box. And it's pretty crazy because, we saw a lot of unusual movement on Rocket a couple of weeks ago that probably didn't have anything to do with this, but overall, that's how they find them. And I'll make a video on that, later on. But overall, the major question is, okay, why is the stock up? Well, obviously the stock's up because they had great earnings, but it's also a massive short squeeze that's ran by Wall Street Bets. Now, the question you have to ask yourself is, do you sell? And would you sell? My girlfriend has a pretty big position in rocket companies, and I'm getting asked the question of, should I sell? And to me, yes, I would be selling. I'm not saying that Rocket, it'll suck to pay short-term capital gains tax, but I don't see Rocket holding this position. I think that Rocket will probably pull back down to at least $29. I think that it's appropriately priced there. I think that that's a good spot, for the stock to fall back to. I think that it's fairly priced at $29. This push that we're seeing here is not because of fundamental. So I personally would be taking profits off the table here and looking to re-enter my position. At the very least, if you're not going to take profits off the table, what I think you should probably end up doing is selling half of your position. So in my girlfriend's case, or in a lot of my students' case, if you entered at $20, sell your original investment at $40. So let's say you entered with $10,000, you're up 10 grand. So you have a total position of $20,000. What I personally would be doing is selling $20,000 worth. So even if the stock goes to zero, it's free money. And if the stock continues to pump its way up, you're still making some gains on that money. Overall, I still love, Rocket. I still believe in the company. I think this pump will be short-lived. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I love this company to death. And congratulations to anybody who hit this. Thank you so much for all of your support. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.